Hello and welcome back to Car Mechanic Simulator 2015. Here I am tapping away on my computer, blurry blurs. Alright, so with no further ado, wow, all jobs available. Dun, 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 dun. So who wants what? I'll tell you what, let's pick the longest looking job. So what's that? It's a bright green thing. Alright, so what do we need here? Find and fix all engine problems, engine power failure, strange noise from engine bay, that's the birds, new timing parts, running gear faults and brakes. So a little bit of everything. First of all, let's run a gamut of tests just to see if that helps us know what's wrong. First of all, nope, doesn't have one of them. No worries about the obd-doobie-deep. So there's the compression test. That's where we inhale gases from the engine, see if they come out of our ears. Oh, there's some ears. Some ears were required. Piston 46. I don't know if that's below the threshold for the car. What does it say? 45. So no, 46 is okay. 46 is good. And then finally, we've got the random number generator. This basically fires random numbers at the car, and they bounce back in a particular pattern that it can discern, and tell us what quality some of the parts are in. So as you can see, the fuel pump was not reflective. And the radiator fan, it's 45. Was that on the cusp? I've already forgotten. Yeah, on the cusp, so that's okay. Alright, so that's shown us a little bit of what's wrong. Some of it patently obvious, because it looks nice and shiny. All the cars look fairly shiny outside, unless they've got the mud on them that shows the parts need replacing. But oh my word, inside, it's a different story. Right, now I'm reminded that, you know when you click on things, the camera moves. Now there's a setting in the options which means that that doesn't happen, or at least it happens in a different way. So I'm going to quickly look at that. I'm going to try and find the options. I might have to actually back out of the game to look at the options. Alright. Bear with. So let's save and exit. Game options. Mouse smoothing, yes. Probably don't want that on actually, but I'll leave it for now. Head bob. Zoom when mounting, unmounting, no. Okay, so let's see. So that's not so much when you're clicking on the items as when you are when you're in the engine hood and you click. Well, we'll see. I don't know. I'm trying to guess what it is. Right, and we're back. So let's see what difference that makes. So that still moves about when you click on it. When you click on a part, I don't know. Well, we'll see some difference somewhere, I'm sure. Meanwhile, we can be taking off some of the stuff. Is it worth examining any of this stuff? Can be examined by OBD scanner? Yeah, but we don't have an OBD scanner port, so that doesn't work. We need to get into the pistons and conrods, so we do need to take off this. We'll also need to get underneath and take off the oil pan. I have to drain the oil. Take off the oil pan. Very exciting. Some brakes issues here. I have to take off the pump first. Tiny bolts at quite a distance. I guess those removed. These don't look great either. Oh yes, I was going in here. I don't know if I need to go under. I'm not sure if I have to take the head off or not. Probably do. I need to take some timing parts off first, but I can't remember if I could actually access the pistons from underneath. So we'll see. I mean, the chance I can't, but you know, experimentation. Let's get these off. There it is. I think there's something else under there. Alright, now get the cover off, and then these parts need fixing as well. Probably the cable. You can never really tell with the cables. Yeah, 1%. The cam gear's hard to check as well. 52%, that's fine. Alright, okay, so that's all good. Starter motor looks a bit dead. Let's have a check on that one. So 45% we needed at. 47, so that's actually okay, so we can put that back on. I got a slightly better one, look. In inventory. Alright, we need to get to the corners as well, so let's stick it on the moving, on the the lift. Alright, so we need to get into these corners. If I remember which button to press. Alright, yeah, this all looks fairly knackered. 17%. 16%. 28%. Yeah, it's amazing this car works. Right, so that needs to come off as well. That chunk of stuff. What about that? Looks a bit iffy, but it all looks iffy. It doesn't look iffy enough to worry about too much. Alright, let's check the other corners. Visual inspection of the brakes, very important. Oh yeah, these are also fairly horrible looking. And I thought the caliper might be okay, but that's horrific. 5%. Alright, oh, that leaf spring looks a bit knackered. Yeah, I'll have to come off from underneath. Alright, on this corner, and the brakes don't look too bad here. Well, still, visual inspection. Just have a quick rummage. No, they're dead. Pads are okay, then the disc looks fine too. Yes, so let's pop those back on whilst we're here. Alright, final corner. Oh yes, this looks very nasty. This corner definitely needs replacing. Yeah, oh, and the front wheel hub as well by the looks of it. How do you get to this? I have to take off the suspension to get this off. Oh wow. Cap. Nope, the spring. Why can't I just take this? Oh, I have to take this off first. I thought I'd take the spring off first. Okay, good. So that's 49. What is the spring? Spring looks a bit dead. Yeah, spring is dead. So that can't come off yet, so that has to come off, and that comes off from underneath. Alright. The radiator doesn't look great either. Okay, well that's the corners done, so now we have to lift it up and get at various parts underneath. Alright, so let's get this suspension arm off. Which gives us access to, once we've taken off the outer tyre rod, gives us access to the front steering knuckle. Okay, and on this side we just want the steering, suspension arm off, sorry. Steering. And down the back we needed a leaf spring, didn't we? Whoops. So, I have to take off both of the U-bolts. That's that leaf spring off. And these suspensions look a bit knackered. Let's just check that. 52%, that was fine. Let's pop him back on. Right, over on this side, check the leaf spring. Leaf spring looks fine. This looks okay. Alright, that might be most of those bits. Let's double check what we have and haven't got. So there's bits of the engine we haven't discovered. That's sort of to be expected, but not rummaged around in there. Engine power has failed. Okay, so it might be worth looking at the air filter. Strange noise from the engine, may not found that yet. Timing parts we already had. Okay, so there's still some running gear. So there may be some suspension bits that I've not double checked, and the brake, we've got all the brake bits. That's okay. The brake bits are fairly straightforward, to be honest. So running gear. I suppose we could have taken it for a test run. That would have been the best thing to do early days. That looks a bit knackered. That spring cap. Let's double check these. 49, 48, 24. All right, so that's another one. So how far off were we on the running gear? One more thing to discover. Well, it might be it might just be what do you call them? A bush. Oh, there it is. Talking about bushings. So hopefully that was the running gear, the final part of the running gear. Anyway, yes. Okay, cool. So that's that done. Oops, didn't mean to take that off. So we need to look in the engine now. for those parts, and yeah. Okay, so possibly the air filter and some other bits and pieces. So do we need to get underneath? Oh yes, we need to get underneath. We need to drain the oil, I remember. Let's get our oil receptacle. Slop, have it stick to the front of your jersey. Sort of magnetic clips or whatever the hell it operates on. Right, let's get that underneath there. Just double check that it's underneath the knobbles. Yeah, looks good. Don't want to drop any oil on the floor after all. There we go. Just kind of ignore the fact it's sort of going through the exhaust slightly. Good. Right, let me get that out of the way. Yoop. Just leave it in the middle of the floor. Now we can remove the oil pan. I wonder what it's like if you just remove it without taking the oil out, whether you get deluged in oil. That'd be quite exciting. Right, so now we can... we do have to take them off from above. It's kind of understandable. I thought I'd give it a go from taking them out underneath. You never know. So those are your two pistons that need replacing. So we need to take off the top of the engine to get to them. Fair enough. Alright. We've got all our suspension bits, so it makes that look a bit knackered. So we're looking for more problems with the engine. Alright, well, let's bring it back down. I think the air filter's a good possible... I suppose the battery as well as one that might or might not have a problem. Although I wouldn't necessarily think that was causing a noise. The radiator itself looks a bit dead, so let's have a look at that. So the fan's on the cusp. Oh, the radiator's okay, actually. I say on the cusp. 45, yeah, right on the edge. So it's neither of those two. Ah, the strange noise of the crankshaft bearing cap, so we found that. Let's put the radiator and the fan back on. Okay. Battery. No, can't remove that. I'm in assemble mode. Battery's fine. Starter motor, look. That's a bit nasty. What? Why can't I remove the starter motor? Does it think I'm above the car or something? No, I'm in assemble mode like an idiot. Ugh, for flip's sake. Right, there we go. I've already taken that off, haven't I? I just remembered. Sterling work. Okay, so these bits are all fine. Let's put that back on. Back on. I was going to check the air filter. Let's stick to what I was planning to do. Air filter. There you are. Remove the fiddly clips. Let's get it in assemble mode first. We're going to spend a good long while working out what I'm doing wrong. Learning. It's a slow process. This looks pretty good condition actually. 47%, just, but good enough. That's 54% now. Was it the top that was? Yeah, the top's at 47%. Oh, whatever. Yes, that clip. Whatever. Clips. Yes. Alright, it's none of that. Well, we have to take the top of the engine off anyway, so let's continue with that. So, let's take off these bits first. Mini bolts. Okay, then we take off the camshaft. Oh no, not yet. Not before we've taken out all these caps. Oh, there's a knackered thing. Look, camshaft cap there. That'll be another thing. So that and the two pistons with conrods might be all we need to remove. I say all, still a fairly major engine overhaul, but you know, we knew it was going to be a long job. Take the manifold off. Still something we have to... Oh, it's sparkies. Sparkies are all in it still, of course. Oh, and all the timing leads and all that guff. Okay, so that's everything off the head, so we should now be able to take off that. Yep, some 6 long bolts. So I imagine in reality we'd have to do up or undo in a particular order. And we can remove those conrods. Now that might be that. Yep, okay, we've got nothing left to find. So that's job done. Now we have to buy lots and lots of parts, very slowly, because my memory's terrible. So here we go. Right, car parts, engine, camshaft cap. There we go, number 1. Camshaft cap. Crankshaft pulley R4. Crankshaft pulley. Crankshaft pulley R4. Fuel pump. 2 times piston with conrod. Fuel pump. Fuel pump. Something with conrod. Piston with conrod times 2. Piston with conrod times 2. 2 spark plugs and a throttle R4. 2 spark plugs. And a throttle R4. Alright, that's all from that list. Engine power failure. Fuel filter. Fuel rail MPI. Fuel filter. Fuel filter. And fuel blum blah blum. Fuel rail MPI, was it? Or, yeah. Fuel rail MPI. I have no idea what that is. Strange noise from engine bay. Crankshaft bearing cap. It's weird how these are all in separate little bits, even though they're all kind of the same thing. Crankshaft bearing cap. Did I really not buy one of these? Crankshaft bearing cap. No. Okay. Crankshaft bearing cap it is. Crankshaft bearing cap. Does it mean this? It says crankshaft. No, it means crankshaft bearing cap. It's just I'm being stupid. Right, good. That's that. Right, new timing parts. Belt tensioner. Belt tensioner. Timing belt R4 sock. Timing belt R4 sock. That's a timing cover. Timing belt R4 sock. And then we want a water pump R4. Water pump R4. Alright. Okay, front spring. So this is running gear. Front spring. Front steering knuckle A, front wheel hub. Front steering knuckle A, and front wheel hub. Leaf spring plate. Leaf spring plate. Lower suspension arm rubber bushing. Lower suspension arm rubber bushing. Rubber bushing. And spring cap. It's like spring brake, but it's the end. We've capped it. Yeah. And then billions of brake bits. So ABS module. Brakes. ABS module. An ABS pump. Oh, I didn't realise I needed both. I thought only one of them was knackered. 1, 2, 3, 4. Brake caliper for everything. Whoops, I've done that wrong. Brake caliper for everything. Nope. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 brake disc and 2 brake disc ventilated. 1 brake disc and 2 brake disc ventilated. And 3 brake pads. 1, 2. Okay, that's everything. So now we get to put it all back on the car. Yay! Excitement, she wrote. Right. Yes. All the rusty bits back on top of all the nice new bits. Camshaft. Many camshaft caps, each with 2 bolts. Yes, there we go. Right, good. And then we have the engine cover, of course, with its 6 bolts, 8 bolts. And then we've got a manifold. There we go, press the right buttons. Many bolts for this. This is the exhalation of the engine as it breathes out. I need to suck all those exhaust gases out to get ready for the next revolution, or whatever you want to call it, the next iteration of explosions in the engine. There's another spark plug, isn't there? That's only 3. Oh, it's hidden underneath this little protuberance. That's the technical term. Alright, so we go, and the leads. Right, that's that side of the engine together. So then we put on these bits over here, fuel filter, and the fuel rail, and the manifold, such and such. Such and such. There we go, the fuel rail, nice fancy new one. That's everything on that side. Oh no, it's the throttle. I forgot about that. Right, then that's all the timing gumph. That's the technical term for that. Timing gumph. Yeah, bolty. Our leads, not leads, belts. Was there a tensioner? No, that was it. Okay. Radiator didn't come off. Okay, good. I think that's most of the engine-y bits. We can double check, of course. We didn't put the fuel pump on. That must be part of this, you'd imagine. No? Fuel pump, you say? I don't see a highlight for it anywhere. Ah, well, these are the ABS bits. Huh. Well, we can get it highlighted if we don't find it by the end. Yeah, let's just do that now, actually. Fuel pump. Where are you meant to be, Mr. Fuel Pump? I don't see the highlight for it, so that's not helped at all. Oh, in the meantime, put the rest of the bits on. And that's the brake system. There we go, reach around to that. Okay, so, and then each of these corners has some stuff to do. This had the, the lower suspension arm has to go back on here. So maybe time to put it in the air. Alright, let's get these suspension-y bits back on. Yep, bolty. Some brake bits. That's ready to go back. We'll put the wheel on, of course, as well. I keep forgetting you can put the wheel on when it's up in the air. You wouldn't want to do that in reality, so you want a wheel dropping on your head, but, you know. The joys of not being in reality, of course. Woo, yeah, woo. So, what do we need this? So, we need the knuckle, the hub, and the little bit in the middle of the hub, the nub, the wheel hubcap, lower suspension arm. Oh, the actual suspension on this side as well. Oh, there's the fuel pump. Oh, it's because we haven't found it yet. It's not that we haven't put it back in. I must admit, I didn't really remember taking it out, but I didn't really think too much about it. Yeah, you can't put it back in if you haven't taken it out. For a start, you don't even really know where it is. Right, sorted now. Damn, almost forgot the outer tyre rod there. Yep, good. And then the brakes. And the wheel. Alright, 2 corners done. Right, so we need to... Oh, first of all, let's sort that out. So we need to... Oops, remove that. I need to buy a new one. Fuel filter. Engine. F for fuel filter. I already bought one, didn't I? Ha! There you go. Just the memory just suddenly... There we go. You're good? Right. So, meanwhile... New caliper. And a wheel. I guess we didn't take anything off on the suspension on this side. Oh, there was the bushing though. Was that not on this side? There was a bushing. There it is, there, before we forget, because they can be a pain in the arse to find. There we go. Alright, so let's do... Oh, suspension. Oh, suspension on this side, yeah. But we need to put the leaf coil on, do we, first? It's not giving me the highlight. Oh, there we go. I'm looking in the wrong place, that's why. Quite simple. Simples. There we go. Oh, where's the leaf spring go? There we go. Yes. Alright. Yeah, we can unhighlight that now. That's just catching my eye all the time. Cool. So, getting there. Crankshaft bearing cap. Oh. I hope that goes on underneath. The visions of having put all the engine back together and it's saying, oh, and there's this bit you haven't finished, you haven't fixed. Like, oh, bugger. So I'm going to have to take the whole engine apart again. Right, so I think that's all the suspension, well, certainly all the brakes, yes, suspension done, yes, so it's just that strange noise from the engine, so it's the fact that we have to go in underneath, because we haven't finished here, and we have to put on the bearing caps that we took off. Was it just the one? I think it was just the one, yeah, so put the oil pan back in. And that should be it, apart from whatever it is I've forgotten, because yeah, I've always forgotten something. So we put some oil in, and then that theoretically is job did. So here we go, glub 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 with the oil until the oil can itself knows there's enough in there, and then just a fraction more. So there, and just a fraction more, and then double check with the dipstick, slap bang in the middle, it's where we want it. All right. Double check the list, everything's green. Brilliant. There we go. That was an involved but fairly straightforward set of jobs. They all got done. Because that's what happens when you've got to the end. Pithy final statement and amusing goodbye.